Hey guys, before we get into the video, quick shout out to the sponsor of the channel. Starting off with Imperial Duelist, they have everything from sleeves, dice, mats, everything you can think of for TCG apparel. Use code SAKO10 for 10% off. And then Dueling Guard as well, use code SAKO5 for 5% off. Hey guys, Lucas Sako here. Today I am bringing you an updated combo tutorial for the Maliss deck post Suda. This deck got some amazing new implications with the Abrial card. That card came out in Suda. It is an absolutely phenomenal extender and it really works well with this deck. I don't want to waste your guys' time, so we're just going to hop straight into the video. This is the one card combo with Dormouse, and the combo is honestly just so much better than the last format. I was never a big fan of the whole Terahertz inboard. That inboard felt very weak. The disruptions with it felt very fake. And honestly, now that we have an actual inboard, I'm just super happy, and I'm very excited to play this deck in the upcoming format. So we're going to go ahead and start off this combo by normal summoning Dormouse, and we're going to use the effect to banish a white rabbit from our deck. Because the white rabbit was banished, we're going to pay 300 life points and special summon her back. On the summon of white rabbit, we're going to get the trigger to then to set the TB11 from our deck, and then we're going to go ahead and link off both our monsters into a Haggard Lizard Rose. Use the effect, banishing our Dormouse for cost, and then Dormouse is going to pay 300 to then special summon itself. From here, we're going to go ahead and link off our two monsters. We're going to make a red ransom and use the red ransom's effect to now search for Maliss and Underground. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to flip up our TB11. We're going to banish our red ransom, especially on the Chessy Cat from our deck. And then because the red ransom was banished, we're going to pay 900 more life points to then special summon itself. And then because we use that effect, we're going to banish a Dotscaper from our deck. On the banishment of Dotscaper, we're going to use the effect to then special summon that back. And then from here, we're going to link it with the Dotscaper going into a link decoder. This is usually where your opponent's going to nib you. If they do nib you, remember you have not used the effect of Chessy Cat in the graveyard. Or when it's banished. So you have the token, which you can turn into a link spider. You have Maliss and Underground, banish the Chessy Cat summon back. And then from there, you can go to Splash Mage revive, get to White Binder. And really, that's all you need to equal a full inboard in this deck because this deck is so powerful. So now, we're going to go ahead and link off the link decoder, the Red Ransom, and the Chessy Cat. We're going to make a White Binder, and we're going to use the effect of link decoder. That is the only effect we're going to use right now. Keep in mind, we're not activating the White Binder for 2 banish on summon, because we want to keep as much of our options live as possible. If they decide to nib you here, you're actually going to get more extenders. So you're going to get the token they gave you with the nib. But now you can go Maliss Underground, banish your White Binder summon back, White Binder, banish the Chessy Cat, and then that's one more body. So keep in mind, there is a few other things that you can do. If your opponent decides to wait, you can actually really punish them. So now that we're here, we're going to use the effect of White Binder to go ahead and set from our deck. So we're going to set the GWC06. That way we have a full inboard now. If we get nibbed, we don't really care. We have our full inboard set with the GWC06. Now we're going to go ahead and link off the link decoder as well as the White Binder. And we're going to make Nightmare Griffin. This is something that's a little bit weird because it doesn't really look like it's an inboard. And it's not. We're going to go ahead and move this Nightmare Griffin around. We're going to play with him just a little bit just to get him how we want him. So now we're going to use the Maliss Underground, banish the White Binder, and then White Binder is going to pay 900 more life points one more time, special summon itself back, and get us a draw here. And then we can use the White Binder's effect on summon to banish off the Chessy Cat, as well as TB11, which is then going to trigger the effect of Chessy Cat to special summon back and pay 300 life points. From here, now we're going to do some cool stuff with a new linked monster, Abrial. If you don't know what Abrial does, Abrial says during the main phase, you can discard one card, activate one of these effects. You have to tell your opponent which one of these effects you're activating. It's kind of like talents. But it says, destroy one card on the field. This is a non-targeting destruction, which is absolutely phenomenal. And when your opponent thinks that you're going to set this up to revive a light or dark monster from your graveyard, which is the other effect, then that destruction can be super surprising for your opponent. And it's really good on turn 3 as well when you're going to break boards, things like that. The next effect of this card says, banish this card until the end phase. And if you do, special summon one light or dark monster from your graveyard. So we're going to use that effect here in a second to help us extend, as well as bring back the Abrial for our opponent's turn. But lastly, this card has one more effect that is absolutely broken. It says, during your standby phase, you can draw cards equal to the number of different monster types among the monster in your graveyard, then place the same number of cards from your hand on the bottom of the deck in any order. Usually in your graveyard, when you do get back to your standby phase, we're going to have not only Cyberse monsters, not only Fiend monsters, but we're going to have a bunch of other things. We're going to have a reptile because of Haggard Lizard Rose. Anytime we use a dragon or like a bestial, we're going to have a dragon in our graveyard. We do make IP in this combo, which goes into SP a lot of the time. Sometimes SP dies. That's a warrior in our graveyard. Not to mention you have hand traps. If you Ash Blossom them, that's another draw. If you Veiler them, Spellcaster, that's another draw. If you discard like a Fuwalos off of the Abrial to go ahead and use the effect, it's a Winged Beast. It's another draw. You can get back to your standby phase and have 8 draws. You can just literally pick up your deck, pick like 8 cards in there basically, and just put the ones you don't want back. just kill your opponent. You have a perfect custom hand at point. So this card is phenomenal. The next thing we're going to go ahead and do here in this combo is we're going to use the effect of a bow. We're going to discard whatever card we drew or whatever card you want in your hand, because you do get to choose, to banish the bow to special summon back from the graveyard. It's really important that you special summon a non-link monster here, because the next thing we're going to do with our 2 random bodies is we're actually just going to go ahead and turn those into IP. And here, if your opponent decides to wait the entire turn and doesn't want to interact with you, they're going to nib exactly 1 IP. Not too scary, right? Because in the end phase, we're going to go ahead and use the bow to bring itself back. And now this is our inboard. We have GWC06, we have IP Masquerena, and we have a bow. What's really going to happen here is on the opponent's turn, we're going to use the effect of a bow. We're going to special summon Nightmare Griffin to the middle zone, and then our opponent can't interact with us, like at all, basically. There's really just not much they can do at that point, because they can't use monster effects on the field. What I found is the best timing for this is usually when your opponent normal summons Ice Rise you, and they start to try to break the board. You can just use a bow to special summon back Griffin. Whatever they summon off of Ice Rise you can't activate, so they're already down kind of some of their resources, Then whenever they overlay into, there's no arrows. That can't really activate. If they try to go into Fiendsmith plays, they're going to go ahead and link 2 into Moon. Doesn't point to anything. Doesn't really matter. They're going to link that into Requiem. Requiem doesn't point to anything. Doesn't matter, There's just so many different things that are really, really oppressive versus those decks right now with Nightmare Griffin. So I think that's definitely something to look out for. Besides Nightmare Griffin, though, you're going to have IP, which goes into SP, or you can go into Hearts of Cryptor. You can go into Nightmare Phoenix. There's so many different options. Nightmare Phoenix is probably my favorite option, though, because it's going to help your Nightmare Griffin from being able to be destroyed by battle. So co-linking that, really, really cool. Another thing to look out for is that Nightmare Griffin, most of the time that it's outed, it's because of a bestial monster. They're able to activate like a Magnemite, right? Or a Baldrake, special summon and just crash into the Nightmare Griffin. There's something that's an accidental boost to our Nightmare Griffin in the deck, and that's the effect of Red Ransom. And it says, while this card points to a monster, the original attack and defense of all effect monsters your opponent controls are switched. So if they bestial you, it has 2,000 attack, which is not enough to get over Griffin. So something really, really cool there. And then you still have all your GWC6 interactions. That's it for the 1-card combo. I'm going to show you the White Rabbit combo now. So with 1 White Rabbit, we're going to go ahead and normal summon White Rabbit, use the effect to set TB11, and then activate TB11, banishing the White Rabbit. We're going to summon a Dormouse from the deck, and then we can use the effect of White Rabbit to special summon back. So if you guys don't play Maliss very often, you'll know that the White Rabbit combo never plays around Nib. You can get to some sort of small interaction through Nib, but it's usually never enough to fully play around it, So what we're going to go ahead and do here is we're going to play a little bit into Nib, but we're going to leave our options open to 2 extenders. So if you have a field spell, you're able to really, really punish your opponent. We're going to go ahead and link away the White Rabbit, the Dormouse. We're going to make a Lizard Rose, then we're going to use the Lizard Rose effect to banish the Dormouse effect to then special summon back. And then because we have not used the Dormouse effect, we're going to use Dormouse, special summon Chessy Cat, and then we can use the Chessy Cat effect to now special summon back. From here, we're going to go ahead and link away our Dormouse, link away the Lizard Rose. We're going to go ahead and make a Red Ransom, and then use Red Ransom's effect to now search for our field spell. We're going to use the bodies here with Chessy Cat and Red Ransom, go into SP Little Knight, and then use SP actually to banish off the Red Ransom, which is going to trigger the Red Ransom effect to then special summon itself back by paying 900 life points. And because we use that effect, we're also going to banish a Cyberse monster from our deck list, which is going to be Dotscaper. So Dotscaper is now going to special summon back. With this board here, we're going to go ahead and now link away the SP Little Knight, as well as the Red Ransom. We're going to go into our White Binder, and then use White Binder's effect to now set from our deck. So now we're going to get GWC06 into play here. Next thing we're going to do, link away Dotscaper, link away the White Binder. We're going to go for a Nightmare Griffin. Then we're going to activate the Maliss and Underground to now banish our White Binder, which is going to trigger the White Binder to special summon back and draw a card. Because we don't have the 1 additional body that the Dormouse combo provides, we're going to go for a little bit of a different end board here, but it's still really, really good. So we're going to go ahead and link away the Nightmare Griffin, as well as the White Binder. We're going to go into our Avow. Same card from earlier, and now we're going to use the Avow effect to discard and special summon back. And since we don't have the additional body, it's kind of difficult for us to go ahead and special summon another body, and then turn those into IP. But because we did something a little bit different in this combo here, in order to get preparation for this Avow effect, we're totally fine. We're going to use the Avow, banish itself, and actually special summon back this SP from earlier. The one we used to actually combo with, we're going to put it back on our field because it's an additional disruption, Having the SP effect to banish one of your monsters and banish your opponent cards is absolutely phenomenal, especially in this deck, because you can use SP during your opponent's turn to banish your White Binder and banish their card, which is actually going to let you trigger the White Binder effect to special summon itself back and draw. In this deck, that's super phenomenal. I'm pretty sure that in this next upcoming format, you guys will see the Maliss decks change a lot. You'll notice that prior in the formats, we're playing like striker cards, which is going to be mainly breakers. It's going to have like 3 engage, a widow anchor, and a hornet drones. The reason you're playing that is because detonator was really, really hard to deal with, but now people aren't playing detonator control. They're trying to go for a bigger combo board, so hand traps are going to be much, much more important, as well as the Mitsurugi Riser deck being one of the better decks of the format. Impulse is phenomenal versus that deck, and so playing hand traps is going to be very, very good for the deck. In my build, I squeezed 19 in there, and 19 hand traps in this deck is something that's absolutely phenomenal. Not many people are doing something like that, so I think that's something that you should totally be prepared for. There's a lot of hand traps in this deck, so doing things that draw, absolutely incredible. During the end phase, remember, we're going to get the Abow effect to special summon back, and this is going to be our inboard. It is Abow to special summon the Griffin on our opponent's turn. We're going to have SP Little Knight, as well as we have the set card here for GWC06, and this is your inboard. Once again, this is everything you could possibly need. GWC06 is going to get every bit of interaction there with your other cards, but this is it for the White Rabbit combo. Lastly, I'm going to show you one more combo here. It's going to be what happens when you open Chessy Cat and Abrial. So when you open Chessy Cat and Abrial, obviously we're going to go ahead and start off by normal summoning Chessy Cat. We're going to use the Chessy Cat body by going into Link Decoder, and then use our Abrial monster to go ahead and banish Chessy Cat. And then for this chain link, if it's Magnema, you're going to go ahead and do chain link 1 Magnema, chain link 2 Chessy Cat, and special summon back the Maliss monster. Next thing, we're going to go ahead and link away our monsters here. So Link Decoder, the Bestial monster, and Chessy Cat, all of those are going to go straight into a red ransom. I want to go chain link 1 red ransom, chain link 2 Link Decoder. So now we're protected from Ash Blossom still. So they haven't had a good point to Ash Blossom us, and they're really not going to. We're going to be able to finish our full combo while still playing around Ash Blossom almost the entire turn, which is phenomenal. We've also played around Nib at this point because red ransom was summoned 5. So now for this entire combo, we're going to have a Maliss Stone in our hand. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to take that Link Decoder, put the red ransom in the graveyard, and make SP Little Knight. We're going to use SP to now banish our red ransom, and then we can use the effect of red ransom to pay 900 life points, special summon itself back, and we're going to banish the Dotscaper. We're going to now use Dotscaper to special summon back, and then from here, kind of similar to what we were doing earlier, we're going to go ahead and link our 2 monsters, go into a white binder, and then use Binder's effect to now set our GWC06 from the deck. So now we're safe from Nib. We can go ahead and extend, be a little bit greedier in our plays. So we're going to go ahead and activate Maliss Underground, banishing a Dormouse from our deck, using Dormouse to go ahead and pay the 300 life points and special summon itself back. From there, we're going to use Dormouse effect, banishing a white rabbit, and then use rabbit effect, paying 300 life points, special summon that back, and then we can get the rabbit effect to actually go ahead and set from our deck list. So we're going to go ahead and put the TB11 face down on our field. Next thing, we're going to go at TB11, special summon back, or banishing the white binder to special summon another Chessy Cat from our deck. Doesn't really matter which name you summon here. I think it's best to go ahead and get the Chessy Cats out of your deck because you do play 3 of them, and they're really not that good going later and later into the game. You kind of want more like 1-card interactable cards. So we're going to special summon the Chessy Cat, and then because we banished the white binder, we're going to pay 900 life points, special summon that back, and get our draw. From here, we have a ton of bodies, and it really just comes down to how we're going to use these bodies. So what I decided is best for this combo is you actually go ahead and make an IP, and then with the other 2 bodies, you go ahead and make a Nightmare Phoenix. So here we are going for a little bit of a different approach with our inboard because we've already used the SP in our combo. We're going to go for a little bit of a different board, So we're going to link away the Phoenix, link away the white binder here, and now this is our inboard. It doesn't look too fantastic, and that's because we're not really done yet. We're going to use the Abow, discard a card, special summon back SP, and then in the end phase, we're going to special summon back the Abow. So, like I said, this is a little bit different, right? We don't have the Griffin in play, but we do have an IP. And the reason that we don't put the Griffin in play is because we're planning on making the IP or the Griffin with the IP during our opponent's turn. So I'm gonna go ahead and just show off some of the disruptions here, kind of how it plays out. If you did have a Bestial, or like you did have Magnema, you're gonna search for a Bestial in the end phase. But during your opponent's turn, let's say we go ahead and activate GWC06. We're going to use Binder here. We're going to banish Red Ransom, as well as 2 cards in our opponent's graveyard. So we have an interaction there, which is phenomenal. So if your opponent activates Tract, you can change GW6, get that timing exactly correct. You can hit their Lurie and their Tract from their graveyard, or you can hit their Engraver and their Lurie from their graveyard. Either way, White Binder is really, really good into that interaction, as well as it still lets you set up the other interactions that come from your side of the field, So Red Ransom is going to pay 900 life points. It's going to banish the White Rabbit, and the White Rabbit is going to special summon back and use the effect to now set your MTP07. At this point, we have the MTP07, which we can use to banish our White Binder and search for a follow-up, as well as banish one of their cards non-targeting. because the white binder was banished, we're going to go ahead and pay a little bit more life points to go ahead and draw and special summon back the white binder. We have the SP effect, which is now going to tag out our red ransom, or you can tag out the white binder. I actually think it's better to tag out the white binder here because it doesn't give them any arrows at all, but it's not going to matter too much. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use our IP, which is going to link away our white binder to take away the arrows from them, and we're going to make a Nightmare Griffin, but we're going to stick him all the way on this other side over here so that he doesn't really get affected at all. Because he was now summoned during our opponent's turn, we can use the effect of him, because he was link summoned, to discard and reset a trap from our graveyard. So now you can reset the GWCO6, which is, for one, going to be amazing for your life point, because you're going to gain 23. I didn't do it here in this example, but you're going to gain 23 just when you activate it the first time. But now that you have it again, like if you're coming down 10 minutes on time, having the GWCO6 that you can technically activate like 3 times before you're really in danger is going to put you way ahead in life points. But also, we're going to get a draw off of this because the Griffin is co-linked. So we've gotten 2 draws as well as the search off of a Bestial. And the other interactions we have still are going to be really good if they do decide to go ahead and kill the Griffin somehow. So say they have like an Econ or a Droplet, they have something to remove or negate the Griffin, we still have the Abow. So we can actually use Abow, discard, and then revive the Griffin. It's going to absolutely shut your opponent down. That's one of the main interactions that I really like with Abow. It's not just the fact that we can stick Griffin on the field, it's the fact that we can stick Griffin on the field several times, you know, which is really, really oppressive. But guys, that's pretty much it. I'm not going to show off a deck list before Orlando. I don't want to leak too many things here, but I did want to show off these combos. These combos are really phenomenal, and it's a lot better than what we were doing last format. If you guys had any comments, suggestions, ideas, or questions, leave them in the comment section down below. I'm more than happy to go through and answer all of those. If you guys like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching. But the main thing is, I just hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day. Thank you. Bye-bye.